Doe, a deer, a female deer, Ray, a drop of golden sun. Me, a name I call myself, far, long, long way to run. So, a needle pulling thread, la, a note to follow, so, tea, a drink with jam and bread, that will bring us back to Doe, oh, 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 Doe! A deer, a female deer, Ray, a drop.
My first pet. In 1963, I attended, with a guest to whom I had taught high school English, one of the 2,385 performances of The Sound of Music at the Palace Theatre, Shaftesbury Avenue, London. It was a musical about the choir formed by an aristocratic family in Austria on the eve of World War II. The song that triggered my reminiscing about our beloved family pet, JB, so named because she was jointly gifted to my brother Bert and myself, Junior. Junior because, as the firstborn, I was named after my father, was Maria's. She was the new music teacher, cum nanny, and the children were rehearsing the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do scale. And as she sang the word do, my memory leaped back to my infant days and to my pet Anglo-Nubian doe, JB. It was an unforgettable musical experience, and I was 24 years old, some 18 years since I had penned the famous letter to my dad, the contents of which I'm going to share with you. My reaction to the Von Trapp children singing was strange. The involuntary consequence was that my memory was taken back in time to the rural tranquility of the peaceful misty hills of Alexandra St. Anne, Jamaica. The bitter tinge of reality was the disquieting alarm of the war being waged in Europe, in which, because our men and women had left home to fight for democracy, we had a stake. The result was serious disruption in the importation of basic supplies and the fear in the British colonies of possible hateful attacks similar to the destructive bombings in Europe and elsewhere. My earliest realization that my brother and I were, quote, in loco parentis, of the Anglo-Nubian pet goat in our backyard was the discovery, decades later, among my mother's treasured memorabilia, of an undated letter in my own unmistakable handwriting at the age of 6 or 7. My dad, the proud recipient, was participating in a pharmaceutical management program at the Kingston Public Hospital in 1945, prior to the ending of World War II, on September the 2nd, 1945. I have, for reasons which may be obvious, carefully examined the letter, which didn't reveal anything more than a common or garden existence, not unlike several families whose lives, in spite of the outward show of courage and confidence and hope, were ruined by the vicissitudes of war and hate and Hitler's illegitimate power grab. At the time, I would have considered myself the understudy of my father, who was the pater familias, in Roman law the head of the family. So it would naturally have been required of me to report faithfully, like any ordinary locum tenens, on pertinent domestic matters. It was my innocent ranking of these responsibilities which reflected the hierarchical structures that are so instructive in our culture and the dangerous times in which we lived, which made a lasting subliminal impression that you were much too young to consciously contemplate. Although the stepladder design is pretty obvious, I briefly discuss it and save you the torture of deciphering my penmanship, for which I apologize, and which, excusably, is clearly merely a work in progress. 1. At the top of the structure is Daddy, the father figure. He was also only temporarily away from home, unlike the problematic issues that many children are heir to because of absentee fathers. On the second rung, and because of concern for the helpless condition of my siblings and myself, I quote, Bert is much better now, also Bev and myself, and we are praying hard for you. On the third rung was our mother, in her role as protective mother hen and prime caregiver, devoted to healing the sick and comforting the sad. Quote, Mother made some of the medicine for us again. Next on the list was the family pets, the domestic animals and kitchen garden. Quote, the black hen has 6 chicks. All of them are well. Also the goats and the rabbits. The garden is coming on nicely. That's because in the exigencies of war, a healthy kitchen garden is a lifeline. Inserted thereafter was a statement of my core responsibilities. Quote, I am taking care of Mother and Bev. And we are all concerned at that time about our little baby sister, who was born prematurely in September 1944. On the 5th rung were Maisie, my mother's youngest sister, attending school, and Lynette, whom we called Auntie. She also was working as an accountant with the hospital's administration. They had both come to live with us in Alexandria after Captain Knox died. On the lowest rung were the domestic staff, including Agatha, whose seniority was highly respected. Her status was a qualification that allowed extending personal greetings directly to the head of the family. Agatha sends how to do. She also supervised other domestic servants and supernumeraries who did the laundry, the ironing, the dusting, the floor cleaning. They also did ad hoc washing, as well as the storing and preparation of supplies in the pantry. I don't really know whether any of us siblings had an intolerance for cow's milk, but Bert and I were honored to become the designated owners of this family pet. We enjoy drinking goat's milk, as it contains significantly less lactose. Anglo-Nubians do give birth every 7 months, and with occasional twins or triplets, they are quite an asset. JB herself was productive, pettable, intelligent, and understanding. I doubt whether the adult humans in our family understood how much we revered JB and how we would check on her every morning, make sure she was fed and milked, and how special was the relationship between animal and infant. She appeared proud of and attentive to the increasing numbers of her kids. They frolicked when we let them roam freely over the sloping meadows of lush green grass that even today extends to the sturdy, familiar water tank into which rainwater flowing from an imposing catchment would be collected. As children, we marveled at the enchanting beauty of nature and the free fun and frolic of kids, both human and goat breeds. It was no accident that JB's patient, pensive personality miraculously seemed in sync with my own. That from my current perspective is simply because I am a quintessential Capricorn, born as I was on the 14th of January. The pundits with crystal balls say people of our sign are, quote, compassionate to the misfortune of others, but also quiet and somewhat shy. To quote an inveterate expert on the signs of the zodiac, when goats are doing well, they are elegant artists and creative thinkers. And as icing on the cake, to coin a phrase which appeals to me, They adamantly add that the Anglo-Nubian portrays, quote, an aristocratic appearance with its very long pendulous ears that hang close to the head, like the recreated images of the Berlin bust of Queen Nefertiti, circa 1340 BC. The doe carried a distinctly Roman nose and was short-haired, making her feel most comfortable to the touch when we petted her, whereas the colors of Nubian goat's coat are mostly black, red, or tan, any of which may be carried in combination with white. A mature doe stands at least 75 centimeters at the highest part of the animal's back, lying at the base of the neck, above the shoulders or the withers, and the goat weighs approximately 69 pounds or over. This version of the Von Trapp family story is more about the idea of children having safe fun in a family setting across verdant and expansive sloping hills, whether under clear sunny skies or cool misty mornings with glorious sunrises. Or was it the laughter that silenced the noise of battle's deadly hostile explosions? Those Von Trapp children, en famille in Austria, in 1938, were not so different from my family and my ancienne mother in the same year. Beyond everything else, we were overshadowed by the impending threat of World War II, a global conflict that began on the 1st September 1939. But to me, it was also related to the hope we firmly held on, unsure as today of what domestic terrorists, in collaboration with avowed foreign enemies of the United States, have in store for us at this point in time, circa September 2024. History warns us we are in September, the month in which World War II began, and also the month in which it ended. However, be that as it may, I am extremely grateful that the assigned topic has aroused my curiosity. Was the kinship in my infancy with my pet of significant therapeutic benefit, although I would have been too young to understand at the time and in those terms? Studies have shown that the children who grow up in homes with animals have a better ability to show empathy later and as adults. Also, some of the best breeds of goats that would make great emotional support animals include Anglo-Nubians. The last earth sign of the zodiac, Capricorns, and their unique spirits are powerful to say the least, observed Alisa Kelly on September the 1st, 2024, in an article entitled "The Personality of a Capricorn Explained." And she could have been speaking to me directly when she continues, "I can confirm that there is something that makes Capricorn extremely special: their limitless resilience." Question: could it be possible that my first pet was partially responsible for crafting my personality? They say these goats can recognize human faces and are capable of reading human emotions, which makes them an excellent choice for an emotional support animal. For JB was more than an Anglo-Nubian doe. She was, unbeknownst at the time, my personal pedagoga, supplementing parental education. Every day of her life, she was there for me, nurturing us with her milk, teaching us about nature, showing us how to love and how to appreciate loyal affection. I was influenced by her Capricorn example to mature into a confident and empathetic person. And I shall forever be grateful for her transformational guidance. Proverbs 22:6. Start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it.